Hey everyone, it's Dinah, and we are here to check out the newest installment in the Star Wars Disney Plus kind of series of releases, and this is an unarguably long-awaited one. This is the one and only Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah, fair to say we've been waiting a long time for this, and we have been. I think I'd like to say we've been waiting patiently since it's been announced and developed and produced and everything, and now it's finally here. And of course, in somewhat appropriate kind of Star Wars fashion, they kind of surprised us with a 2 episode premiere. They actually surprised us with a 2 episode premiere. I think this one too. I think there's probably like only 6 episodes too. I think this one they've kept it down to just 6 episodes. So I think in like a few weeks time at most. I feel like it's gonna fly by, but in like a few weeks time, we're already gonna be kind of welcoming the kind of season finale. I feel, or maybe even the series finale if this is like a one and done type deal. But yeah, Obi-Wan Kenobi, the story that is going to be covering, or I think at least like a portion of Obi-Wan's time between the end of the prequel trilogy and the start of the original trilogy and everything. So yeah, and with Ewan McGregor himself returning to play the iconic character. So yeah, I think we've had a couple of different teasers and trailers for this, showcasing the series in a very lovely and elegant kind of format, and kind of giving us like a glimpse and kind of like a heads up as to where we're going to be. So I think with this being like an aftermath type of thing, I think Jedi Fallen Order also does kind of like take place in like a similar way, like actually set after episode 3 and showcasing the kind of the kind of rise and fall of the Jedi Order in the wake of the Empire's kind of reign and everything. And I think I should have done, I think like, or everything I should have done in order to prepare for this, or at least everything that you probably expect a Star Wars fan to do to prepare for this. I did a bit of it. I did a bit of it. I think I did. I mainly did a rewatch of the original of the prequel trilogy to prepare for Clone Wars, which I still haven't. I mean, I'm sad to say I still haven't started, but I'm very close. I'm very close to it because of the fact that I have now actually, as of yesterday, literally the day before this series was meant to premiere. Yesterday, I actually finally kind of got around to finishing off my prequel trilogy rewatch and actually watched episode 3 through and through, and that was great. And I think, yeah, if anything, I was reminded of actually how much I enjoy and how much I actually love the prequel trilogy. It's not everyone's favorite, but you know what? It is what it is. So yeah, so I am very excited to see how we can actually continue on from the prequels onto this new kind of in between kind of story they've got going for us here. And I think Jedi Fallen Order 2, I think because of their inclusion of the Inquisitors and the whole kind of the kind of similar story taking place of the kind of the Jedi Order collapsing and any remaining and surviving Jedi having to go into exile and having to kind of somewhat secretly keep tabs on each other and also keep what's left of the Jedi faith and the Jedi existence alive and everything. I think because of that kind of stuff, Fallen Order was a pretty good kind of thing to play. So I've started Fallen Order. I'm like a fair bit of the way through it, and it's a really good game. It's a really fun game, and it's a really good story so far. So I'm really eager to continue with that and get through that. And I think that one is the one that introduces like the Inquisitors and actually kind of introduces that kind of like story setting and everything. So that kind of helps you familiarize a little bit with what's going on here, but I think with that one too, that game they introduced Cal Kestis too, played by Cameron Monaghan. So I think there's been theories that if like it takes place in it, like I mean whether or not it takes place exactly the same time as this is I think because that one takes place I think 5 years after episode 3. So I think with this one, I don't know if they've actually mentioned how long after it takes place or thing, but I think Luke in the trailer is like a little boy, so I think it's fair to say that he's probably like 5 or 6 in that as well. So could be like a similar enough amount of time. So then maybe there could be a reference to Cal, or maybe people realize that there could be a reference, or maybe he could actually show up if they're crazy enough to do that. If they're crazy enough to actually bring Cameron Monaghan in with BD1 to actually kind of to play Cal Kestis and to bring him into somehow, maybe even reference him as he's kind of going around the galaxy doing his thing with his kind of fellow Jedi kind of escapees and everything. So who knows what could happen? Who knows what could happen? But we have Obi-Wan, we have Hayden Christensen himself has returned to this too. So I think, to be honest, I'm not really sure there's any real kind of telling as to how much of like Darth Vader we will see in this, or even hear in this. Like if we're gonna hear him talking, if we're gonna see him doing his thing, if we're gonna see him monitoring the situation from afar, or if we're gonna see him, sending kind of troops and stuff after after Obi-Wan, or what's gonna happen. But yeah, I think rewatching rewatching the prequels too, finally getting to Revenge of the Sith. I was excited to finally get to the end, so I could actually be ready for this. But then I was reminded of just how fucking tragic Revenge of the Sith actually is, and like the ending, and just how like not well everything actually goes for pretty much everyone involved. So jumping into this now is going to be a very kind of very grim reminder of, you know, just how still not well everything is going, and how alone Obi-Wan is, and how he's lost almost everyone. So you know, who knows exactly how much of an uplifting and also kind of down pulling kind of series and story this is actually going to be. If it is going to be like a series of Obi-Wan finally finding his way, because then we know he has to become Old-Ben Kenobi for the original trilogy, but then of course he has to, you know, die in that one. I mean they're probably not going to build like reference like that kind of that ending too much, but I think actually kind of building him up to be the Old-Ben Kenobi we see in the original trilogy too. Actually building him up to be the kind of like the dweller among the Tusken Raiders, and becoming that kind of little kind of Tatooine hermit and everything. So who knows what we could see. So yeah, any other, I think I'm not sure. I'm not sure I in particular have any other theories. I think just wondering if we might see him contacting anyone else, or actually trying to. I mean, I feel like we definitely may well kind of see him attempting to make contact, and attempting to make very discreet contact, especially with the trailer having showed us like other kind of like the Inquisitors and other stormtroopers and other kind of Empire kind of, you know, kind of like troops and agents and Imperial kind of, you know, people in the area and on Tatooine and everything, and actually kind of still hunting Jedi, because even in Fallen Order that was the whole thing, that they're actually going around hunting kind of Jedi and everything, because I think even for them, like, they knew that the Jedi, like as many as they had the clones kill, a lot of them would have been scattered and managed to survive and everything. Like Yoda went into exile, Bail Organa went and raised Leia with his wife, and then Obi-Wan handed off Luke to to Owen and Beru, and I think Owen to thingy. I can't remember what his name is, but the guy who played Owen, young Owen in the prequels, he's come back for this too, and he had like one hell of an epic burn for him. For Obi-Wan in the trailer too, which I think I am familiar with that one comic panel shot thing that they kind of inspired that from, so that was a cool tie-in. But he's coming back too, so we can see, and I think we know he won't be he will not be dying until episode 4. So I think I'm hoping we at least get we at least get to see like a decent amount of him in this, to appropriately kind of set up exactly how dedicated of a guardian he kind of insists on being. Like if he's that kind of reluctant and cold towards Obi-Wan, I'm hoping we at least get to see him kind of being a bit more kind of like a, you know, like an actual parental figure that we see him being in the originals for Luke and everything. So yeah, I'm wondering how much of Luke we'll actually see. Like if it's just gonna be like distant shots of like a little boy, if we're actually gonna see him interacting with them or anything. Or if we might see like if we'll see the kids, if we'll actually get to, you know, see the story actually being interactive with the kids, or if we're just going to see the kids off in the distance and doing their own thing, just like that kind of a basic reminder from the story that, oh yeah, they're still a part of the story, and they're still being prepared to really rise and shine years and years from now. But yeah, I don't know. So we'll see. I guess we'll see. But yeah, that is pretty much all I can fully remember. I think there are a few other names and faces that I most definitely will recognise, or at least I hope to recognise by the time they actually pop up in this series. So yeah, who knows what the first and second episode have for us, or at least have for me. So yeah, that is pretty much all I got for this kind of pre-spec type intro thing. So yeah, on to the very first episode of Star Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Let's go. This is where the fun begins. I had to throw that reference in there. I don't know if it still fit in, but this is where the fun begins. Oh, new younglings. Please do not let any harm fall upon them. Please, not after last time. Do not let any harm befall them. Oh, whoa, no, is this Order 66? No, this must be Order 66, yeah. Yeah, this has to be Order 66. I was about to say when the clones came in, oh, this has to be Order 66, yeah. Order 60 freaking 6. Oh, Jesus. Oh. It kind of makes me wonder too, because of like how much they had grown to trust the clones too, like exactly how many Jedi, I mean, obviously not a lot, but exactly how many Jedi might have been fully prepared to, you know, handle this kind of a threat. Like, the very army they trusted so deeply actually coming to be, coming to be fucking killed by them.
We run.
Right, no, the younglings. Are these guys gonna become their own little family of like youngling Jedis or something? I feel that's a bit too much to ask for, but it would be really badass on the one hand. Obi-Wan Kenobi. That was a cool intro, watching Jedis get slaughtered. 10 years later. Oh, 10 years later. Okay. Oh, this is 10 years. So, Fallen Order is 5, this is 10. Do they really expect to find Jedi on Tatooine? Isn't that mostly a civilian planet, or mostly like a trade planet? Do they really expect to find Jedi there? Or it would be the perfect place to hide out, so I guess kind of makes sense. So there she is. I think that's Reva, right? Or Reva, or Reva, or something. That's not Boba Fett, is it? I don't mean to see a bald guy and assume it's Boba Fett, but that's not Boba Fett, is it?
Do you know the key to hunting Jedi, friend?
Patience.
It is patience.
I'm not a Sith, it was in the fucking
Jedi
trailers.
cannot help what they are. For example, in our line of work, rumors
Lightsaber marks?
run rampant. His compassion has been his undoing.
Oh! Oh, she got the Force? Oh, no, oh, no, he's the Jedi. He's got the Force. He's the Jedi, he's got the Force. Ugh.
Prepare him for
God.
interrogation.
You're wasting your time, you know that, right?
You will forget this fixation with Kenobi, or I will relieve you of
She's
your
obsessed
duties.
with
Is that
Kenobi.
clear?
Oh, is that him? Is that our boy? Is that Obi-Wan? Is that our big boy? Wow, Obi-Wan. How long it's been, old friend. How long it's been. Even though I watched Revenge of the Sith just yesterday. How long it's been regardless.
Please, I have a family.
Oh, gosh.
One more word, I take it all. Something you want to say?
I think he wants to, yeah, but I don't think he's going to. No. I think Obi-Wan's always been somewhat better at controlling his impulses. Yeah. This is his own little cave, his own little hideout. Is it going to be the same place we see in A New Hope? Is it going to be the same space? Is that a toy?
I'll give you 50. Tika, if you're going to steal my parts
Tika.
and sell them back to me, could you at least clean them first?
Oh, Tika. I think that might be our first Jawa with a name. Oh gosh, not Mustafa. Not freaking Mustafa.
Promise me you will train the boy.
He had attachments and he lost every last one of them. He lost them all.
Master Qui-Gon. Master.
Ah, gosh. Would they get Liam Neeson back for this? Would they get him to show up as like a Force ghost? Ah, yeah. He's hiding and practicing his flying. Like father, like son. Oh, gosh. How easy is it going to be emotionally for Obi-Wan to handle this kind of distant supervision job? Oh, he got the toy for... Oh, of course he got the toy for... Because I honestly couldn't tell if it was like a toy or like a miniature tech thing that he needed. But no, it's a toy. It's a toy. It's a toy flying ship thing of some kind. And he got it for Luke.
What are you doing here, Obi-Wan?
My name is Ben.
Ben.
Come on, please. You have no idea what I've been through.
They're gonna find you, dude. You're gonna lead them right to Obi-Wan. To Ben.
The fight is done. We lost.
What happened to you?
Life, honestly. Just
You were once
life.
a great Jedi.
Getting all fancy dressed up. No way, don't tell me. Is this Leia? This has to be Leia. Oh my god, this is Leia. That is so Leia. That is so Leia. Oh, 10-year-old Leia.
Come on, let's hurry it along.
Whoa. Whoa.
She insisted you would find it amusing.
Oh, she swapped. Did they swap? Did they swap? Just like her mother, yeah. Oh, the real Leia is out running in the forest. Oh! That's our Leia. That's our 10-year-old Leia. Oh gosh. Oh. Just like her mother, yeah. Only this time this was for a prank and not like an actual security assurance type thing. And she has her own droid too.
Not bad.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, she's in a family of politicians. Of course she has a freaking droid.
You had to do this today?
Do what?
Down.
Do what? I didn't do anything. I'm totally innocent.
No Lola for the rest of the day.
Lola. Oh, that's Lola.
Put her down.
Yeah, no one touches Lola. Don't touch Lola.
I mean it.
All I ever do is wave.
More than way. Get out of this.
Smile and wave. Smile and wave this time. Is the hug a trick? Is...
You know, I can feel it.
Oh, she's amazing. She's definitely Leia. She's definitely Leia. She's so good. Oh no, who's this? Assassin? This has assassin vibes. That has definite assassin vibes. Maybe someone who's found the kid. Oh no, the toy.
I want you to stay away from him.
Oh,
We don't need anything from you, Ben.
It's just a toy.
You care if he's showing.
It's my responsibility, Owen.
Well, I'm his uncle.
We talked about this. When the time comes, he must be trained.
Like you trained his father. Anakin is dead, and I won't let you make the same mistake twice. So leave him on the farm with his family, where he belongs.
Haven't you murdered enough Skywalkers already, Kenobi?
Hands go first. That way, when you reach for anything, you think of us.
Damn, that's a good line. Yeah.
You have no rights here.
Oh gosh.
We're not under the Empire's.
Oh, the hand went.
All we want is information. You got a Jedi on that farm too?
No,
Why should I believe you?
I have no love for the Jedi. Jedi are vermin. I kill vermin on my farm.
You protect your family. You think you could protect them from me?
Oh shit. Oh, I'm liking Reeve already.
Tell me where the Jedi is, or this man and his family die!
Okay, we know he doesn't die here. He has the thickest plot armor until A New Hope. He has the fullest plot armor until A New Hope.
What is it you think you will gain by capturing him?
When I'm old.
He's owed. So she's actually looking for a reward.
Right on time as always.
Oh, yeah, he's
good
back.
today.
Bail Organa, he's back. Oh, Jimmy Smith.
Probably scouring for pirates.
That's what I said.
Don't encourage her.
Just smile and wave. Just smile and wave. You are Leia Organa. You are more important than you realize. Oh, is that 3PO? That's gotta be 3PO, right? Oh no, I don't know.
Thanks, Wyatt.
That one was golden though. What happened to 3PO? No, Organa left him behind. Bail Organa left him behind. Had him reprogrammed.
Then I guess I don't need manners when I'm talking to you.
Oh damn.
You're not even a real Organa.
Oh, you little shit.
You want him to like you, so you repeat what he says, even though you don't really know what it means. You think being like him will make people frightened of you. You're the one who's scared. Never made one decision.
Reading
for
him
yourself
like an
in your
open
whole life,
book.
And you never will.
You owe him an apology.
I'd rather be digested by
She really is Padme's daughter. Won't take shit. Won't take any shit from anyone.
Not even a real Organa.
Don't ever say that. You are a child, and Organa in every way. Plus, imagine the look on your cousin's face when you get to boss him around for real.
Absolutely.
But for now, apologize.
Yes, Father.
Apologize now so you can destroy him later. That's how you do revenge. That's how you do victory.
Just waiting
For what?
for you.
Oh no. Oh no! There's 3 of them? What are they, bounty hunters or? Oh no, god no, oh no. Fuck, are we gonna have to deal with some kind of Leia abduction now? Is that how this is gonna go?
She needs you, Obi-Wan.
She needs your help.
Can't trust anyone else.
You're
What
her
about
only
the
hope.
Senate? My duty is to the boy.
Duty to his sister. She's as important as he is.
Did they hang someone? Don't tell me they hung Owen. Don't tell me they hung Owen. What did they find him? Did they find the other Jedi, Nari? Did they find Nari? They found Nari, didn't they? Oh. And he had hope. He had hope, and it was ripped away.
I'm not the man you remember.
Well, you're going to have to be.
I can't leave the boy.
This isn't about the boy, and you know it. Move on. Be done with it. You couldn't save Anakin. But you can save her. One last fight.
We know it's going to be much more than that. Oh no. Oh no, Lola! You touched Lola.
Father will rescue me.
No one's coming for you.
Oh, you're gonna die. You're gonna die so bad. You are gonna die so fucking bad. Why did they kidnap her? Are they gonna give her away to someone, or is it to draw someone out? Are they trying to draw Obi-Wan out? They must be trying to draw Obi-Wan out, right? Maybe they figured out who she is. Both of them. His and Anakin's. Yeah. Oh!
Fought beside her father during the war.
Reva! She organized this. Ah.
The Jedi will hunt himself.
Ah, Reva organized this. Oh, he's suited back up again. Obi-Wan Kenobi is back after 10 bloody years. Oh, directed by Deborah Chow. Yeah, I think she's going to be directing every episode of this season. So, we are in for a mighty, mighty treat. We are in for a mighty treat. Yeah, I gotta say, that was a solid premiere. That was a very, very solid, very, very compact kind of introduction to what this series is going to be like. A lot of introductions to a lot of returning and new faces, a lot of different key characters and moving pieces in this season, so that was fun. And yeah, I think just kind of seeing the continuation of the story going on too was actually really a really kind of nice thing to see. So I think it kind of flowed at a very nice pace, and it definitely kind of like continued in a way that kind of made sense, and definitely kind of, you know, definitely kind of set the story and the tone in a way that made sense for like how things would, or at least should be, after such a major event as episode 3 was and everything. So that was really fun. So this is 10 years later. This is 10 years later. So I think Fallen Order is actually significantly kind of like takes place significantly in significantly less time after Revenge of the Sith. So I don't think that I don't really think that there's much way that could take place. I mean, maybe you could. I think maybe it could reference stuff from maybe you could reference stuff from Fallen Order. I think maybe that would be more likely, maybe, because I think again like a reference to Cal or a reference to his activities might be in order, or might be, you know, the closest we can get. And I don't know if I'd recognize all of them, because again I'm not really that far into the game, so I don't know exactly like how I haven't gone to any of the more major kind of events or fights that happen in the game or anything. So I don't know exactly how close we might get. Like maybe if it might just be like a name, like, oh, we got close to capturing Cal Kestis, but then even that was a bust or whatever. So I guess we'll see. But the hunt for Obi-Wan is in, I think, well, at least on Reva's side, on Third Sister's side, it is ongoing. It is ongoing, and very much like a matter of urgency for her. So that's that. But yeah, we have the different sisters of the kind of Imperial Inquisition. We have the fifth sister, which is the the white face and the helmet, and everything. And then there's the third sister, who's Reva. Gets no helmet, just her and everything. And then I think there's the Grand Inquisitor, which I don't know if they have like if they have a sister title. I don't know if I think if there's like a first or second sister. But that's the Grand Inquisitor. I think that they are the one that does the kind of interrogations and the monologues and speeches about Jedi's, and they're the ones who I think they all do. But I think the Grand Inquisitor is the one that very vocally and very vividly kind of understands like Jedi behaviors and everything. Like giving I think they were the ones giving the speech in the trailer too. The same speech in the trailer too of like the key to hunting Jedi is patience. The Jedi code is like an itch. Their compassion leaves a trail and everything. But then even in this one, like in this episode, I actually kind of obviously got more fleshed out into like an actual story and into like an actual kind of hypothetical story about how like a Jedi would come across like a saloon or like some kind of establishment out in the middle of nowhere that needed help and everything, and then they just wouldn't be able to resist but to actually kind of help and use their powers to do some good. Like the Jedi kind of have that whole kind of thing of like, with great power comes great responsibility. Like they pretty much have their own kind of their own imprint of with great power comes great responsibility, and like a Jedi coming across like a place like that with little to no help that gets picked on easily would want to step in and offer their services. And then of course the owner of said establishment would offer their own shelter and offer their own services and offer their own kind of safe haven and everything, even temporarily. And I think in this case, yeah, so yeah, I think I know in the reaction I think I made that kind of comment of that one the one bald dude at the bar possibly being Boba Fett. So I think even then in the moment, then my mind actually did kind of correct me, being like, oh, Boba Fett would still likely be in the Sarlacc pit at this point in time. So, I think no, actually no, he wouldn't, because this is set between the bit before then. So I mean, in this one he'd probably be a kid, right? I think he probably yes. I think because this is set before the originals. In this one he'd probably still be a kid, so probably doing running around with bounty hunters or running around actually kind of. I think he wouldn't even be the actual Boba Fett bounty hunter we know, but then he'd probably still be a kid. He'd probably still kind of be grown up, or he'd probably be like in his youth, like in his 20s or something. So he would not be anywhere near the Boba Fett that we know, and especially it would be after Clone Wars too. So even if he's featured in that, he would be much different than that too. So yeah, that was mostly just like a joke played off of my assumption of him being like a bald guy, or like he must be Boba Fett, but no, it wasn't. So that's cleared up. But no, yeah, but yeah, I think that scene I think was actually I think that actually easily might have been like I mean I personally don't even know how they could have done it, but I think that personally was actually my easily one of my favorite ways to actually introduce the Inquisitors to like the actual way they did it, like the kind of tone they set, that the fact that they're hunting down Jedi and they will stop at nothing and they're very much to be feared and everything. Yeah, I think it was like a really perfect way. I think it definitely does remind me quite a bit of the way they introduce themselves in Fallen Order 2, actually killing Cal's kind of friend as well, and then actually him kind of revealing himself using his own powers because he wanted to actually save his friend, but they killed him anyway, and then he had to go on the run. So Inquisitors are just that they are pretty much kind of Jedi hunters, Jedi kind of pest control, if you will. Pest control with almighty weapons and techniques and ways of doing what they do. So yeah, but yeah, I think we have the fifth sister, the third sister, and the Grand Inquisitor. So that's cool. And then of course the third sister is Reva, who is obsessed with finding Kenobi. She's fixated on Kenobi, to the point where she's even bartering with criminals too. She's even bartering with kidnappers to try and actually lure Kenobi out. And she knows his history, she knows his connections, she knows how to really goad him out and get him to slip out, to potentially slip up and make a mistake that lands him right in her hands and everything. So she is a cunning one. She's gonna. I can already tell I'm gonna enjoy Reva as a villain, and seeing where she goes and seeing how far she goes and seeing what she manages to accomplish, but then also what she tries in her quest to do it and everything. So yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting seeing how far she gets and seeing her and Obi-Wan finally crossing paths. Because then I think she also mentioned she's hunting Obi-Wan because she was asked by Fifth Sister what she thought she would get like once she actually captured Obi-Wan, and then she said what she's owed. So I think she's actually expecting some kind of reward or some kind of like an actual settlement in return for actually capturing Obi-Wan and stuff. So I think again, Darth Vader too. I think maybe she's capturing him for him. Maybe she's been given that mission. Maybe she's actually heard about how badly Darth Vader wants to find Obi-Wan and kill him or finish him off or something. So, because then this is in the very early days of their story too. So I think this being only really 10 years after Episode 3 too. I think Anakin would definitely be still kind of fresh off the heels of his own anger and his own kind of coldness and his own hatred towards Obi-Wan, so he would have no trouble either finding him himself and killing him, or even sending Inquisitors and the whatnot to actually hunt down Obi-Wan and everything. So could be a personal mission for her, maybe because she hates Jedi, and she kind of like wants to hunt them down. I think could be like a connection thing to Darth Vader, where she actually wants to deliver him to him and then do that, or maybe it's a case of like I don't know, maybe something more personal to do with the Jedi, or maybe it's just like she's been doing this for so long, and now Obi-Wan is the one, is one of the few Jedi that's actually managed to escape her grips or escape the Inquisitor's grips for so long or something. But I think he's been on Tatooine the entire time. I think pretty much since he actually came to Tatooine to hand baby Luke over to Owen and Beru. I'm pretty sure like he's been on Tatooine that long. He hasn't really left the planet. He's been monitoring the whole situation for that long, for 10 years. So they've had all the time in the world and in the galaxy to come and find him here. So he clearly hasn't really been escaping many grasps. He the only way in which he has escaped their grasp is actually hiding in plain sight and actually kind of minding his own business and doing his own thing. So yeah, gonna be interesting seeing. I'm really looking forward to seeing them finally crossing paths and finding out a bit more of her history and exactly like what kind of like a grudge or connection she has to Kenobi, and finding out exactly how motivated she is to finding him, but then also capturing him once she does find him and everything. So it's gonna be fun. And I also want to mention that Order 66 intro was a really solid touch too. I think the recap alone of showing off the whole kind of Obi-Wan story again. I think because again that was a really simple recap too. I think even in terms of a recap, I feel like there were other details they could have actually included that would still count it as a recap, and then and that would still constitute it as a recap. But I think that was like a really compact recap too. So obviously that recap was just. It could definitely useful for someone like me who actually kind of watched the movies kind of in staggered kind of pieces and actually kind of watched the movies kind of like a couple of weeks apart and everything. So there was definitely kind of space in between for me to lose out on tidbits and forget different tidbits even then. So the recap was especially useful for me. But yeah, I think for someone like me who watched them that way, or even for anyone who hasn't watched the movies in a while, but they're still really into this and really want to get into the show, it was a really solid. So it was more like a generally styled and generally formatted kind of recap that would just be like a quick refresher as to who Obi-Wan was, who Anakin was, how they met, how their story began, and exactly what kind of path that led them down to. So it was really good in that sense. And then of course, just kind of leading into everything too. And I think especially too because of the fact that I think besides from Boba Fett, like I think since Boba Fett, I think even then, Boba Fett, like in the movies, he was so much more of like a secondary character that they then revamped into like a more prominent character with his own solo series and everything. But I think with this one, this is the first time we've actually had like a live action series starring a character like an actual main character from the movies who's actually getting like a new installment in his story even after he's died, and actually kind of because I think this wouldn't still I think this definitely also wouldn't really be a prequel for him. I think that this would just be literally just be like a solo story that fits in neatly between two different eras in his life too. So I think this kind of actually kind of helps to connect those eras. I think the same way. I think maybe just maybe the same way that the Clone Wars helps to fit some more Anakin and Obi-Wan stuff in between episodes 2 and 3. I think this one might actually just kind of help actually kind of solidify or actually kind of fill in some gaps between the prequels and the originals too. So I think. Because of that, then I think maybe that kind of helps to actually bridge the gap, and because I think even in the originals, I think pretty sure in the originals, I think I'm pretty sure Obi-Wan didn't really kind of manage to last beyond episode 4. I think I'm pretty sure he was killed by the end of episode 4. Either way, so I think he was literally only in the original trilogy for like one movie. So I think because of that, this movie, I think the series in that way can definitely kind of help to, you know, add some extra layers, add some extra information, actually kind of build him up a bit more as a character, actually show what he's going through fresh off the boots and fresh off the heels and everything of the actual, of the devastation that was Order 66, and show just how much he's struggling and what he's going through, and exactly like what pulls him back into this into this world and everything, and exactly what that might cost him and all that kind of stuff. So I think it works really, really well in that sense too. But yeah, I think now in the kind of present day, we find him 10 years later anyway, we find him, he's living an ordinary life and working in a factory, cutting meat and earning probably not even like a proper worker's salary or a worker's wages or anything, but still, and even biting back on his tongue to, you know, to actually try and help and stand up for his other kind of, you know, fellow kind of colleagues and everything, but still kind of living like a normal, quiet life and in exile. I think that might be the difference here too. I think he preaches living like a quiet and normal life, but I think what he's clearly doing is just hiding. Like all he's doing is hiding. Like the work is a cover. Him living in he lives in like a super duper isolated cave on Tatooine with good reason too, but then everything he's doing is pretty much a cover. Everything he's doing is hiding. His main objective is to watch over Luke and wait until he's ready and to hopefully be ready to train him again. And I think you know, I think that also kind of also is like a somewhat, I think it is like a somewhat more kind of ironic kind of deal too, considering that, you know, like right now, even like to save Leia, he refuses to actually step back into the shoes again. Not because he has anything against Leia, but then because I think he truly doesn't want to risk anything until he's actually ready to train Luke, and that is his primary objective: keep the boy safe. And then I think he's also then he's trusted this entire time that Bail would do everything he could to keep Leia safe, and he will kind of have that whole end covered, and then he'll only have to focus on Luke and everything. But then in that time too, I think especially because right now Luke's obviously not ready. He's shown no signs, and he's not at that age yet. But you know, but then the Inquisitor show up too, so then he knows that, you know, any signs of being a Jedi around here are forbidden and punishable with pretty much death and or capture. So you know, he knows that even if he wanted to, he couldn't, because then he would give himself away, and that would get him killed, and that would probably bring more danger to Tatooine as well. So he's aware he's not happy, but then he knows that he needs to do what must be done and all that kind of jazz. So yeah, it's an interesting kind of backdrop to really really kind of toss him into and actually make him kind of adapt to and everything. So yeah. And he even has like a little Jawa buddy. I mean, I don't know if an acquaintance, an associate, a Jawa associate, a Jawa salesperson associate, a Jawa sales associate. He has a Jawa sales associate who sells him stuff. I mean, and even partially steals his stuff and then fails to clean it, and then charges him extra for cleaning it before he returns it. I think even like with the fluidity with which he actually kind of grabbed that kind of processing board, being like, oh yeah, I've got all these pieces, and then Obi-Wan recognizing it and being like, you know what, you could at least clean my shit if you're going to steal it and then try and sell it back to me like the Jawa that you are. So yeah, he has a little Jawa buddy, Tika too. I honestly don't think I really don't think we've ever actually had a case of naming Jawas having actual identities and names and everything. So I think for me this might just be a first. I think like in the past, I think Jawas have been far too annoying, and I think we've only ever really identified Jawas by how annoying and scheming they usually are. We've never really kind of bothered to give them names or anything. So yeah, Tika. This Jawa, Tika. So yeah, that's cool. So Jawas, they're in this very definitely. So yeah, I mean it's Tatooine, you're gonna get Jawas. So yeah. And we also had a little bit of a glimpse of Obi-Wan reaching out to Qui-Gon too. I think episode 3 did end with who was it? I think I watched the fucking movie yesterday, even in bits and pieces. I watched the movie yesterday. Who was it? I think it might have been Yoda, right? I'm pretty sure it was Yoda. I'm pretty sure it was Yoda who told him, or I think it definitely had to be Yoda who told him I can actually teach an old master of yours, actually your old master actually kind of reaches out to you through the Force, and I can teach you how to commune with him and everything. So I'm pretty sure that was him, Yoda, telling him, you know, the Force ghost of Qui-Gon is not alive and well, but he's active and he's ready and everything, so I can teach you how to communicate with him through the Force and everything. So, you know, be visited by his Force, probably be visited by his Force ghost, or otherwise just kind of hearing his voice in his head or something, like Rey heard the other Force ghosts in her head at the end of Rise of Skywalker and everything. So I don't know. I think probably the Force Ghost thing. I think the Force Ghost thing would probably be like a cooler and more kind of active and accurate kind of thing to use in this instance. So that seems more likely. So I think I mean Obi-Wan's having nightmares too. He's having constant nightmares. Probably the same nightmare every damn night too. Like him just kind of like imagining all the people he's lost. He's lost Qui-Gon. He's lost Padme. He's lost Anakin. He's lost almost like like Yoda exiled himself too, and even Bail, like every attachment that Obi-Wan has ever had has led to nothing but darkness and despair and rejection and death and all that kind of stuff. And I think given how much of the prequels kind of rested on the Jedi's belief of the Jedi back then, like their belief of like attachment leads to the dark side, it kind of really kind of speaks volumes about the character that he's had this many attachments in his life, and probably even more during Clone Wars too. Probably even more attachments during Clone Wars of other people, and everything. But then, even despite having lost those attachments, it still hasn't turned him to the dark side. He still hasn't given in to pain or grief or anything. He's processed that as humanly and as willfully and as kind of healthily as he possibly can. But he's lost so much, and he still hasn't turned to the dark side or actually kind of risked like letting that kind of darkness or that pain get to him in a way that he can be corrupted or anything. So, but then again, to be fair, I feel like the original trilogy and even like in the Mandalorian too, I think, or at least in the Book of Boba Fett, seeing how Luke was kind of like Luke used attachment to save his father, and then he also kind of used attachment and healthy overviews of attachment to actually kind of instill like a new Jedi way too, like him kind of trying to instill the belief in even in Grogu that attachments do not lead to the dark side, but fear of losing them and fear of being unable to save the people that you love is what leads to them. So you live a good life. I think the whole ideal in that being like you live a good life, you live a healthy life, and you live a good life with the people that you love, and then you celebrate them when they die, hopefully like a natural peaceful death, and they return to the Force, and then you go on your way until you die. So actually kind of carrying on that kind of ideal throughout the generations too, actually kind of reinforcing that the old Jedi were very corrupt and very, very kind of problematic in their kind of way of viewing people and relationships and how they viewed connections and everything. So they believed that you had to be kind of completely kind of, I don't know if celibate would be the right word to use, but emotionally speaking, they believed you had to be celibate and not kind of form any attachments because they feared that. I think in a way they were right, because like attachments to people can sometimes get people over-attached, or maybe even some people can definitely easily, in Anakin's case, be much more vulnerable to those attachments, and then that can make them far more prone to fear and anger and suffering and all that kind of stuff. So then that can definitely make them more prone to the dark side. But then I think I think then the fact that they kind of use that to reinforce like a forbidden kind of connotation to attachments, then I think can easily make someone even more prone to actually kind of losing themselves to that, because then they can't really kind of help but be attached because they're human, or at least depending on the species they're human, or they're just kind of just normal people who get attached and stuff, emotionally speaking, and then but then under that belief they get attached knowing or thinking that they shouldn't, and then that kind of makes them even more kind of guilty, makes them feel even more guilty, and it makes them even more willing to protect the ones they love because then they shouldn't, and then one thing leads to another. So I think it's just one of the things that the prequels kind of highlighted that they then kind of rectified in the originals and everything. So yeah, I think just kind of seeing Obi-Wan having those nightmares and actually kind of like having him mentally revisit everyone he's lost without will, like I'm completely outside of his comfort zone, his willpower and everything. But then as soon as he wakes up, he tries to reach out to Qui-Gon in the Force and everything, but no one responds. So I do wonder if they would try to bring Qui-Gon back, but then if Liam Neeson himself would actually say yes to that too, like if he would say yes after all these years, because he's been gone even longer. I don't know, so I can't help but wonder if even he himself would actually want to come back to this, even in that as kind of minimal as a way of actually being like a Force ghost for Obi-Wan and everything. So who knows? Because then I think that would be a really interesting exchange to have too. Maybe like if from within the Force, Qui-Gon has been kind of spectating as everything's gone on, and he's watched as the boy he, suspected of the boy he identified as having the highest M count of all, and being the most Force sensitive kind of all those years ago, like the boy he took in, and then he actually passed down onto his own apprentice and everything. Grew up to be one of the darkest and most powerful Sith Lords of all time and everything. Like that would be like a hell of a conversation between Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan to have. But I think it would also, I think for me it would also make sense that Qui-Gon would not readily kind of blame Obi-Wan, and I think he would also kind of like not hesitate to actually kind of reassure Obi-Wan that he shouldn't blame himself, that no one could have seen the Sith Lord's kind of manipulation coming, and that and I think especially the fact that the Anakin was also I think maybe he would also see that Anakin was proof that the Jedi's ways of seeing attachments and seeing kind of emotional connections were actually flawed, and I think he was actually proof that they should reevaluate their ways of thinking, and maybe thinking that he actually wasn't really in the wrong in the way that he was feeling, but then the Jedi Council were in the wrong the way they judged him for it, and the way they actually kind of had their own preconceived notions about him and everything. So again, I think that's one of the reasons why it would actually be kind of nice to see Qui-Gon come back even for a little bit, and actually come back and seeing Obi-Wan and seeing how he's doing, and seeing how his own apprentice is doing after all these years. Like even Obi-Wan's gone through some shit, so actually having Qui-Gon revisit his old apprentice and see how he's doing would be nice. So who knows? And yeah, of course we had the scene of thingy. I think he was even buying. I think the first meeting with the Tika was actually Obi-Wan buying that kind of toy ship for Luke. And I think again, given how differential and just different how different tech can look and be in this universe, I think I genuinely thought, I think on the one hand because I saw the wings and then I saw the actual shape of it, and I thought, this could easily be like an actual toy thing. But then I was like, would it be a toy, or could it be like an actual kind of like a piece of tech that he needs? Maybe he's building something, maybe he needs to use it for something. But no, he's completely forgotten about all that kind of stuff, and not that that's the only thing you can use tech for, but still. But then I thought, okay, it's either tech or it's a toy, and then the fact that he actually left it behind for Luke at night on their front doorstep actually showed that it actually is like a toy plane for Luke, because he's seen him flying. I think that whole scene of him going to their house and watching Luke run away and him hiding away on the side of the house. I think he's not even that far from them. Like he literally just kind of circled around the house and then hid, and then jumped on the back of the little kind of shed chimney place thing and everything. So Buru and Owen really were not that far from him. So I think I would really be embarrassed for them if it took them that long to actually find him still within the literally 10 feet away from them. So there was that. But then of course Obi-Wan watching through his binoculars and even zooming in on Luke, and Luke having the goggles and him doing the flying motions and everything. So him seeing that and seeing Anakin, and I think this series is gonna highlight just how much of Anakin Obi-Wan sees in Luke, and how every time he looks at Luke he can't help but he can't help but think of Anakin and see Anakin and feel what he felt for Anakin and everything, and it's gonna be painful, and that's why it's gonna be even more important for him to feel like he just has to protect Luke. He has to actively protect him and look out for him and make sure that he's actually ready by the time he is and everything. So yeah, it's gonna be hard. But yeah, but he got the toy for him. And then of course the very next morning, Owen came and just literally tossed the toy away at Obi-Wan's feet, and reassured him that they don't need anything from him, and then they don't need money, they don't need gifts, they don't need even any protection, because then Owen and Beru are looking after him. Owen and Beru are looking after him as a completely normal child. They're not giving him any special treatment. They're not going to treat him like he's actually Force sensitive or anything. They're just going to treat him like a normal kid, and make him do normal chores and all that kind of stuff. But then he knows that Obi-Wan is the one who's here, maybe for protection, but then also to see if he's actually ready, to see if he's Force sensitive, to see if he's actually ready to begin training. And even then, even Obi-Wan confirming, like, when he is ready, he needs to be trained. So then, of course, that's where the burn from Owen comes in, of like, oh, you mean like you trained his father before he burned and died on Mustafar because of your inability to guide him properly. So I think I think that quote is actually not only like obviously like inspired from the comic where he does actively confront Obi-Wan and actually kind of does berate him and chastise him for failing as badly as he did, but I think also I think the quote in the actual show is actually I think it's constructed nicely enough that people that even people who haven't read the comic. I mean, I haven't even read the comic. I've just seen that one panel because of Obi-Wan. People were sharing that panel, being like, "Oh, I really hope they actually kind of incorporate this into the series somehow." And then, lo and behold, they did, but in like an inspired way and everything. So I feel like that quote and that scene as a whole is kind of constructed that even if you've only seen the movies, then you'll still get what he means. You'll still understand what he means. You'll still understand why he's saying. You'll still understand what the actual message is and all that kind of stuff. So you don't need to read like 10 different comic books or books of lore or anything to understand where he's coming from. Like, you'll know he means about how, you know, he took Anakin in as apprentice and then trained him and then failed him and Anakin turned into what he was. Then Owen just desperately wants to avoid the same thing happening to Luke. He cares about Luke. He wants him to grow up. Like, I think most of all too, I think especially given everything that's happened, like everything that's happened even outside of Obi-Wan's control, I think the whole Order 66 and the whole Jedi thing too, I think he definitely wants to avoid Luke kind of discovering he has powers, but then even if he does, he wants to avoid him actually kind of running off to join the Jedi and be one of them and to get himself caught up in the same firefight that got his father killed and everything. So yeah, I think most of all he just wants to give Luke a normal life. He wants to be the one to make sure that happens. So yeah. But then yeah, I think even that scene of Owen being under direct threat too. I think the way he was looking at Reva, the way he was looking so slyly at Reva was the one giveaway that he might know something or that he might have something to hide or something. So then Reva singled him out. I think this Owen just does not know how to look. I mean, obviously I think he was looking in the general direction of where Obi-Wan was hiding, like under that kind of little kind of archway type thing and everything. So the entire time, like since they arrived, he was looking in that direction to see if Obi-Wan was there and to kind of contemplate things and everything. But then I gave him away, so then that made Reva single him out and everything. So yeah, but then he didn't give Obi-Wan up, and I think he probably did it for Luke too. Because I've really don't know if it'll be accurate or appropriate to say that he was doing it in case Luke actually did go to him in the future. I think it's just because, you know, I think he knows how important Luke is to Obi-Wan and how important Obi-Wan might be to Luke, because he's the one connection to his father that Luke has left. So maybe. And I think also above that all too, I think he also really isn't like a traitor or like any kind of like a coward that immediately gives up like something as important as that just for safety. So I think deep down he is trusting that Obi-Wan can actually handle himself and he can actually hopefully lead the Inquisitors away in due time as well. So I think most of all, I think he doesn't want to see Obi-Wan die, but he literally just he also does it like he doesn't want him to actually kind of, you know, be too involved with their family after what's happened, but then he also doesn't hate Obi-Wan to the extent that he wants him to die or he wants to see him die at the hands of the Inquisitors. So yeah, I think they got lucky with the Jedi that actually wanted to save the owner of the saloon and everything in the beginning. But then I think I can't help but wonder. I think if but then she I think she did I think she didn't. She didn't. No, I think she didn't. I think I'm still thinking of the actual Jedi from the beginning that they did the thing against or I think wait, no, did she raise her lightsaber against Owen? I can't tell. I think she maybe might have, but then I think fifth sister stopped her. I think she might have actually raised her lightsaber against Owen in that scene, but then fifth sister stopped it to stop her from actually cutting off any more hands or arms or anything. So yeah. And Obi-Wan even rejected Nari too. Nari approached him, the same Jedi from the beginning. He approached him and he found Obi-Wan and actually kind of tried to get him to reinvigorate his belief in the Jedi again. Actually tried to get him to reinstate the Jedi and actually, or at least like not fully reinstate him, but actually kind of help him find shelter and help him find his way again. But then Obi-Wan is too far down that kind of 10-year long rabbit hole of just being Ben Kenobi, or not even Kenobi, just Ben, but being that like that kind of ex-Jedi who now lives fully in exile and he lives fully in retirement of the Jedi Code and his ways of the Force. I mean, he still has it. I mean, I'm fully expecting the next episode to have him actually kind of revisiting the Force and he even dug up his lightsaber again. So I'm fully expecting him to actually revisit his ways of the Force. I think it would be interesting if he was rusty. I think it would definitely be interesting if after 10 years he was still a bit rusty, but then he's still like being a survivor. He had like as a Jedi he's rusty, but then as a survivor he's still pulling out whatever tricks he can. And he's still kind of warming up and doing all sorts of different tricks with the Force and with his lightsaber and everything. I actually can't tell if that was his lightsaber he had at the end. I think because I think his was the other one with the actual kind of circular hilt thing. I think his one isn't the perfect. I think let me actually go back and read and see that episode ending again. I'm not sure it was his lightsaber that he actually had in the end there. I think was it both of them? Did he actually have both of them? No, I think that is. I think no, that is his. I think because I think the hilt is upside down. So I think I kind of confused that for the hilt of Anakin's. But no, that is his. So his has the actual kind of little kind of different, thinner, narrower kind of plating. The narrower tube before it gets to the actual base of the saber piece and everything. So that one was his. That was definitely his. But so yeah, I think his lightsaber. I think he still has it. So I think it would be cool to see if he's actually still rusty with his own ways of the Force and the saber and everything. But then as a survivor, he's still because I think it definitely feels like he's still ready for anything. Like it definitely feels like he's still kind of ready for something and ready for anything. Because again, what happened was that the Jedi fell and the Empire rose. So then he has to know that the Empire's still out there, Palpatine is out there, Anakin's out there as Darth Vader now, and then Imperial troops are going to be all the more stronger in numbers and in actual kind of physicality and everything. So I think he definitely kind of. I felt like he definitely spent those 10 years not only in hiding and actually staying out of trouble, but then actually kind of being prepared for almost anything to come his way. So then I think it would still be interesting to actually see just how out of action he is and how still strong and how talented he is with his skill set and everything. So it would be fun seeing him kind of fight from here on out and actually kind of trying to actually stand his ground against various enemies and everything. So yeah, but yeah, no, but then he told Nari that the Jedi's time is over and that the fight is done and that everyone's gone and everyone's lost and everything. So he's kind of living his own quiet life, and he advised Nari to do the same. But then Nari just couldn't cut it. I think Nari could not find his own shelter. Or I think even if he did, they found him. They eventually found him, and then he actually kind of got hung and killed for his troubles. So rip to Nari, R.I.P. to Nari. So that happened. And yeah, we also had the one and the only Leia Organa. We had Leia Organa. So yeah, we had a pretty prominent too, and I have to say, the child actress for Leia Organa, spot on. I'm already here for it. I'm already all for it. Leia Organa in this, because I didn't think she'd be. Didn't think that they should be this prominent. I didn't think that she would be this prominent in the story. That they'd actually go that far to actually cast like a whole new actress to play her. And I understand like if they wanted to do a young Organa, then they would need to cast like an actual child actress player. But then I don't think that they would actually include her in the story that kind of heavily and everything to the point where she'd be, having like a whole episode around her and also actually being freaking kidnapped by the end of it too. So that was interesting. But they brought Leia back, so I think it seems clear enough to say like at least the first 2 episodes will be covering it, but then whether or not the entire season will be covering it is another question. But then at least the first 2 episodes will be covering the kind of childhood of Leia Organa and seeing who she is now and where she's at. So I think of course episode 3 ended with Bail Organa and his wife taking her in because they always wanted to adopt a baby daughter, so then they took in Leia and raised her as an Organa and everything. So that's been fun, and she's already so much like her mother, just takes no shit from anyone and just kind of does her own thing, and still fights to call out shit and fights to call out assholes wherever she sees them and everything, and also a great representation of who she's going to become because we know that's pretty much exactly who she is in the future too. So both the actress and the writing for her as young Leia is already, for me, it's pretty much spot on. So Carrie would be proud. Carrie would be so proud of actually seeing her story continued in this way and actually seeing kind of her origins being so fleshed out in this way too. So It's pretty great. So yeah, but actually, I think actually seeing her in this episode too, even her, I think even like the actual similarities of her actually kind of swapping out too, like even like the way her mother kind of, I mean, her mother swapped out herself, one of her kind of one of her maidens to actually for security reasons, so they wouldn't know that they're actually hunting the fake kind of the fake Senator Amidala, but then with this one, it's more of like a prank of her, not like her, like a prank, but also like her not wanting to be part of the Senate and her not wanting to be a senator or wanting to be involved in that life. So then she does hire, I think, maybe one of her maidens or one of her friends to actually kind of swap in with her and take her place and everything. So then she says, so that way she can go with her droid. She has a little droid, she has a little kind of red droid that was destroyed by the end of it. So that guy is dying a painful, brutal, and very noticeable death by next episode, so that's gonna be confirmed. But she just kind of ran to the forest to kind of like play kind of like to play like like aircraft spotting or whatever. She was kind of like actually watching different ships flying away and wondering what they were and what they were for and all that kind of stuff. And even Bale indulges her. Even Bale actually indulges her and actually kind of like agrees with her on different theories and different reasons and everything. So that's fun. But yeah, I think even seeing her kind of reluctance and her hesitation to actually become like a senator in this too is actually interesting, like knowing what's already ahead of her future and everything. And just kind of seeing like seeing who she is now and seeing what she becomes later on is gonna be it's gonna be interesting seeing how much of that journey is actually gonna be covered here and everything, and actually seeing like how much of her we get to see in this before she kind of before she slowly starts to resemble more and more of who her character is in the originals and everything. So that's really cool. But I think with this too, I think the main thing for me is just like actually seeing her be so like so much of what her mother used to be and like a mixture of so much of what her mother used to be, but then the added kind of really lovely combination of seeing who she already is in the originals and actually seeing that kind of portrayed here and seeing that resembled here too. Again, the actress actually just managed to really pull it off really well and really fluidly and in like a really entertaining way too. So props to her, many props to her. But yeah, I think actually seeing how far she goes in this and seeing like seeing if she plays as big of a role in this, because I think she is force sensitive too. I think the sequels actually showed us like her being force sensitive too. Like she used it in the present day, but then she also kind of she also did like force training and lightsaber training with Luke as well. So she was sensitive too. But I think they never fully kind of explored that until the later movies too. So I think it would be nice, I think, if they could at least tease us with that in this, actually show us her using the force maybe as like a reflex or like some kind of like a different kind of thing. But I think if they could at least tease it or like glimpse it or something. But then if because I mean so far most of the products we've had have kind of strayed away from the sequel trilogy because of how divisive they made the fan base and everything. So I don't know if they'll actually kind of do anything to reference that or if they'll actually kind of stay away from that as far as possible. But because if that then happens, then that means that Leia is no longer force sensitive, or at least like no longer said or shown to be force sensitive. So I think just kind of seeing her being pure old Leia Organa with or without the force, I think is kind of what's important. Actually, kind of showcasing her character to be who she is and how she gets kind of molded to be who she is in the future too, is more important than that. So yeah, I think it's going to be fun to see how things go either way. So yeah. And I think even more interesting too, given the fact that because of the fact that he didn't really survive beyond episode 4, I think it's going to be interesting seeing if Obi-Wan does actually get to interact with Leia in this. Because again, I think we saw little to nothing of him interacting with Leia in the originals. Because I think in that one the focus was on the relationship between Obi-Wan and Luke and everything. So then he didn't really get to or need to interact with Leia. But I think we know obviously in the prequels he was fairly close. To Padme, and he was there in her final moments, and he was there, and I think he was definitely around her long enough to actually get to know her and know how important she was to him and to Anakin and everything. So then, I do hope then that because of him being the one that Bail trusts to actually kind of track down Leia and actually kind of try to hunt down her kidnappers and take them out and everything, but then to actually bring Leia home safe and sound. I'm hoping that does give them ample opportunity to actually kind of have him interacting with Leia and actually have him kind of talking to her and actually kind of getting to know her a bit more and actually kind of understanding and actually maybe even her having the same effect on him too, like because then he looks at Luke and he sees Anakin, so maybe he could easily look at Leia and even talk to Leia and actually kind of hear and see Padme. So I think probably would hurt too, because then he would feel like he kind of like lost Padme in like a similar way. But then I think actually maybe with this one it would be like a bit more positive, knowing that her daughter is as strong and as fierce and as kind of determined and then headstrong as she once was too. So then he knows that way, like, oh, you're definitely your mother's kind of daughter and everything. So it would be cool. I think it would be cool. It would be cool in this at least to actually kind of have that kind of going on of Leia and Obi-Wan actually having some interaction here and there, actually having some kind of relation here and there too, of actually kind of like him kind of actually kind of slowly getting attached to her too, and actually kind of wanting to see her grow and wanting to see her flourish and everything too. So it'll be interesting to see if they do. I think it would also kind of be giving more and more kind of equal treatment to the twins too, because then I think with enough reason, the original trilogy did shine more light and focus on Obi-Wan and Luke, and then I think in the prequels, I think because he was his apprentice, I think it definitely kind of shine more light upon Obi-Wan and Anakin, and then I think he just kind of got like some fair little tidbits here and there between him and Padme. So I think to have him actually kind of fairly and equally kind of interacting with Leia and getting to know her and actually kind of seeing her side of things and seeing a side of the family that's currently a little bit less force sensitive, I think might even actually kind of give him like an interesting perspective too, because then he would be dealing with a child that he's actually not expecting to be force sensitive, and he also never sees her being force sensitive too, or maybe he actually likely never sees her being force sensitive. So then actually dealing with that side of the family might give him more perspective on how to see Luke and how to handle Luke, and to not look at Luke as some kind of like some kind of superpower waiting to awaken or waiting to be unleashed or something, but then actually rather seeing him as an actual child, and actually not only waiting for him to turn, but actually giving him time to live like a proper life, and giving him time to live the life that he deserves before he joins into this battle and shit goes down and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. And yeah, of course, the kidnapping was also very eloquently organised by Reva herself, because she knows Obi-Wan, she knows about his connection to Anakin and his kids and everything, so she knows that the perfect way to lure him out is to literally put one of the kids in danger. I think kind of also ironic that or at least weird that like she didn't go for Luke. I think if she knows about Luke, she must know about Leia, right? I think maybe she knows that. Maybe she knows that he has another kid, and maybe it's a boy, but then she doesn't specifically know that it's Luke, and especially because like they split them up specifically to avoid them being detected or even captured at the same time. So maybe she actually got lucky with Leia, or actually got lucky with finding her, but then she's still looking for Luke and she doesn't know that he's on Tatooine and everything. So because then she literally got close to Obi and even said like, oh, you have like a wife and kids, and then Obi tried to actually detract from that, being like, you know, my family's not concerning to this, or they're irrelevant to this conversation and everything. So he tried to deflect from that and everything. So then kind of I think maybe temporarily drew her off the scent. So I think maybe she still has her suspicions maybe, but then, you know, isn't kind of currently, because then she can't even find Obi-Wan. She's already no close to finding Obi-Wan, so then that's why she's actually organised this kidnapping and tried to lure him out and everything. So maybe then Leia might be the best option and everything. And also like Leia Organa also is like a much more high profile kind of person too. She's literally the adopted daughter of a former Senate member and everything too. So she lives in like a more high profile place. She's more well known and everything. Whereas with Luke, he's literally just like a, you know, he's just a farmer's son on Tatooine, which is like a next to no place. So, you know, so because I think Leia definitely makes more sense. And then she organised a kidnapping and knew that would be the right way to actually lure Kenobi out and everything. Because then she knew that I think even if he didn't catch on to immediately, he would definitely kind of find the beacon from Organa, and then Organa might even be desperate enough to actually search him down specifically and actually ask him face to face, and then that way Kenobi comes out, and then he gets back into fighting again, and then the battle ensues and everything. So yeah, Reva is a crafty one. I'm telling you, I'm probably gonna end up loving her. She's probably gonna end up being one of my favorite Star Wars villains of this entire kind of season and this entire kind of era and everything. So yeah, and I think definitely gonna need to push myself through Fallen Order a bit more to find out exactly how much more the Inquisitors work, and exactly who else there is, and how many of them survived, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. So yeah, getting through Fallen Order also, that is a thing that needs to happen, and then also getting myself through Clone Wars as well. That is also something that will definitely happen and definitely needs to happen. So in time, I will get myself going through both of those, and then, you know, my mind and my Star Wars loving self will be happier and better off for it. So yeah, that is pretty much it. So I mean, I think that's pretty much all I have from this for now. You know, I think that's pretty much all my notes kind of taken down. But I think, yeah, I think this is like a really solid intro, really solid intro, really well paced and well written kind of introduction to the series and what it's going to be like and what it's going to be about, and a really kind of really top notch kind of entrance from Ewan, actually bring Obi-Wan Kenobi back in such a kind of cold and kind of delicate kind of way and everything. So can't wait to see how the rest of the series progresses and how he actually builds upon this character again, actually kind of brings him back onto the screen and brings him back into the world of the Jedi and then the Sith and the Force and everything. So it's going to be fun seeing our old friend return. So yeah, but for now, that is pretty much all my initial thoughts out of the way. So yeah, that was Obi-Wan Kenobi, Season 1, Episode number 1. So thank you guys, as always, so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then feel free to leave a like and comment what your thoughts are and what your theories are and how you felt about this opening episode and what your theories are and what you look forward to seeing as the season goes on and what other kind of theories you might have. For those interested, full length reaction over on Patreon, so you can go check that over there. And yeah, that is pretty much it. So until the next time, bye bye for now.